Good afternoon and welcome to today's session, your roadmap to a successful S4 HANA migration. So my name is Emma, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm delighted to be joined by SAP and GRC cybersecurity experts and Slaramir and Anil this morning, as well as access governance risk and controls expert Maddie from SafePaaS. So just a few housekeeping items before we do get started. So the session will be recorded for on-demand viewing afterwards. And if you do have any questions, we would love your participation. If you do have any questions, pop those in the control panel and we'll get to those at the end of the session. So Slaramir, would you like to introduce yourself?
With pleasure. Hello, everyone. My name is Robin Konieczek. I'm from Europe, from Poland, depending where you are. Good morning, good evening. Hello to everyone. I'm the founder and CEO of Attentus. We are primarily in cybersecurity, focusing on SAP security, and I'm happy to introduce you more into what's ahead of S4 migration, in case you haven't started yet. And with that, let me hand over to Anil.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, if you're based out of Europe, and good morning and good evening based on the rest of the areas. So I'm Anil Karamkanti, based out of Poland, and I work with Slavik at Attentus. I'm SAP Security Authorization GRC consultant with more than a decade of experience. So I'll be happy to give more insights into the S4 HANA migration roadmap. Yeah. Looking forward to it. And yeah, pass it on to Maddie then.
All right, thanks, Anil. Hello, everyone. This is Madhusudan Bansal Maddie. I'm a Director of Product Management at SafePaaS. Have a vast experience from SAP, GRC, and SAP otherwise as well. So here to share my experience and things we should be doing in the HANA migration. Looking forward. Over to you, Emma.
Excellent, thank you. So this is the agenda we'll be following today. So everything from understanding the reasons for migrating to when's the best time to begin your planning, the different approaches you can take, some common challenges that organizations face when they go through this journey, along with security factors and best practices. So let's dive into the session. So what's the first thing to, when we go on this journey of migrating to S4 HANA, why are organizations migrating?
This is actually a key question. Yes, I'm happy to step in. So this is actually the key question. Why do organizations decide to start either already working on S4 HANA or some of are already on S4 HANA? So what's the background for that? Actually, there are a couple of reasons. One is the opportunity that it comes with. So at the moment, we see everywhere around the digital transformation. So it's not a technology-driven transformation; it's really a digital transformation. So it gives you a chance to change your processes, modify the processes, and of course that transforms completely your business compared to the typical or the almost legacy world, typical ECC world. So the fast pace of the environment, the digital transformation, moves you and gives you the opportunity to jump into the S4 HANA. Anyone wants to chip into this one?
Yeah, I'd like to a bit, because this is also important because SAP is moving in the direction of an intelligent enterprise, right? So when we talk about what is an intelligent enterprise with migration towards S4 HANA, so would help you to actually automate your processes, give the capabilities of the HANA database itself, which is completely a new data model introduced by SAP, and that would help you to leverage the capabilities in terms of the predictive analysis that you could get and all the capabilities of the AI solutions that are being offered as part of this digital transformation from SAP, which were not that possible with the legacy ERP systems, right? So this would give a great advantage in terms of how you utilize your data assets and how you can build your business based upon the analysis or the analytics that you perform on the data, leveraging these and moving your business into a more profitable and more risk-free direction, I would say.
Yeah.
And would you agree then to the statement that it's not a must that what people often foresee as, okay, we need to change from technology from ECC to S/4HANA given the lifespan of the ECC, but you would take it from the opportunistic point of view that indeed it's a really change to move forward.
Yeah, I would definitely agree on that, and I would say it's not just about how you technically upgrade from the legacy ERP to S4, right? It's not just about you doing a technical upgrade or migration. It's also about taking advantage of the capabilities that are being offered as part of it. Yeah, so that gives you a great advantage in terms of your business automation, process automation, transformation, and all the reporting capabilities or the analytics. Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to also add that this is also kind of enforce migration sooner, because SAP is pulling out support for SAP ECC. So whether you organization like it or not, they need to think around those. But I agree that this should be looked more as an opportunity to improve processes and take advantage of all the capabilities, because this will be from the technology point of view also, it's going to be a big change, right? We are moving from legacy databases to in-memory databases, which is really performance improvement basically over, and more analytical capabilities, simplification of the technology platform also. So yeah, there are more advantages, and organizations should look it as more of opportunity rather than an enforcement from SAP.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It is important to mention that there is a lifespan of the ECC, and the maintenance initially was to end in 2025. Now it's prolonged a bit, yet eventually we all have to move to S/4HANA.
Correct. Great. Anyone want to add anything here before we move on?
Yeah, we've covered most of the points here.
So when is the best? Sorry, go ahead. So when is the best?
What I was trying to put in was, it's not just also about the compulsion from the SAP side, but yeah, as Maddie and Slavik had mentioned, it's also a great opportunity in terms of the transformation itself, right? What you can do with the data, because organizations are growing in terms of the data that they have, and how you leverage this data is what drives your business. So that is what is the key thing that is S/4HANA or SAP is bringing in this S4 world.
Yeah, good points. So when's the best time to begin the migration planning?
So that would be start early. That means as of yesterday, right? So if you haven't already started your migration or the transformation process, and I think it's very much needed that you already start with this steps of migrating towards S/4HANA, because as Maddie had just mentioned, that the support for the legacy ECC is going to end by 2027, and you would want to stay behind all your competitors on the market, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually a very good point. Start early. That we are already in 2024. So with the maintenance to run out eventually almost tomorrow, you also already have to start. But of course, when to start as soon as possible, because the preparation itself is a long process. You have to assess and understand what or how your current landscape look like, whether the business process is running across your enterprise, which are the ones that will have to be modified or improved, or which are the ones that you can take over and continue with. So the analysis part will take plenty of time. So start early. That's the key message here. Maddie, you wanted to add something?
Right. I think in any migration, it is always recommended to start 12 to 18 months earlier, before the end of support. They generally allow for the sufficient time to assess your system, define the migration strategy, prepare your organization for transitions and all that, right? It could also depend on several factors like your size and complexity of your organization, current version of ERP which you have, But yeah, the earlier the better, which give you more time to have a smooth transition.
And so what do the different migration approaches, well, what are they and what do they look like?
I can take that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Go ahead.
so as being mentioned here, so there are 3 different strategies, or let's say alternatives that you can use to actually migrate from the legacy ECC to S4. So let's go step by step as to what each of these are like and what do they actually mean. So let's start with what a brownfield approach is. So there are 3 different kinds of approaches, which is brownfield, greenfield, and a bluefield. So let's start with each of these, starting with brownfield. So brownfield is nothing but a system conversion itself, where you would like to migrate all your legacy data into the new world of S/4HANA. So what do we mean by this? So or when do you choose this kind of an approach? So let's say you have all the processes and all the data configurations which you're satisfied with, and you say, okay, all the processes in my organization are standard and they're good, they're running well, and I'm confident that they are very the help in running the business smooth. In that approach, you would choose a brownfield just to move that to a new stack, that is S/4HANA. So what advantages does it have? So it would be like in terms of a minimal business disruption. So what are the cons in terms of a brownfield approach? So one thing would be for you to go to a big bang approach, right? So there's no phased approach in terms of using a brownfield system conversion. Then also in terms of how you evaluate and analyze your existing architecture or the landscapes. That's also important when you consider the brownfield system conversion. And from that, if Maddie and Slavik have any points to add here.
So with the greenfield, or back to brownfield first, it's a lift and shift kind of approach. So what you already have, us supporting your businesses, you just continue working on the processes. You just change the technology behind, in a nutshell. So you switch from ECC to S/4HANA. Of course, it's not a simplistic approach. There are lots of pitfalls behind, but in a nutshell, it's to continue with the processes that you have and move from one landscape to the other landscape.
Yeah, the key here will be the minimal disruption to your business, right? So that is the key when you consider the brownfield system conversion. So if you move to the next one, which is a greenfield approach. So as the word itself tells, greenfield is like a complete shift or re-implementation of the ERP system that you have when you're migrating to S/4HANA. So what does this mean? So it means you have a chance to redesign your existing business processes and or eliminate all the customizations if you feel you've been living with these kinds of patches all through your legacy systems. And that's also a chance and opportunity for you to redesign such processes, such customizations, and lead into a world which is more standardized. And SAP, in terms of this redesign, also helps you with conjunction with certain solutions, which would be like the SAP Signavio, which helps you to analyze your existing processes and redesign them better in terms of your company strategy. And also SAP Process Discovery solutions like that would also give insights into your existing businesses processes. So yeah, in a nutshell, greenfield approach is like a complete re-implementation of your business processes. If you feel that the existing processes aren't to your satisfaction and you've been living with such kind of a business processes for a long time.
I have a question to this one. Of course, it will vary from the company to company. From the efforts point of view, where do you see the bigger efforts, in a greenfield or in a brownfield?
So yeah, I would say in terms of a greenfield, the effort would be more, right? So it's completely like a new implementation when you're doing a greenfield approach, because you're kind of analyzing all the existing business processes and also the impact analysis when you actually move to a S4 world, right? When you redesign the business processes, what kind of an impact it is going to have to your business, to your end users, and also in terms of the user experience as a keyword also, right? So you're making a new implementation also means because S4 is more in terms of a Fury approach, which is kind of new to most of the customers who have been living with the legacy ECC system, right? So that's also involved. So, and also introducing your key users to this S4 world as well. So making them understand, getting them trained, and also this takes a lot of effort. So I would say comparatively between a brownfield and a greenfield, the time would be more in terms of greenfield approach overall.
Let's then.
I would like to add here, I mean, irrespective of what approach organizations are taking, I think they can banify by, dividing it into small chunks. Let's say maybe taking a process by process and then migrating into the new system. This gave opportunity to, of course, the less the scope, the less the complexity, and then also give opportunity for the departments to settle down, and then you move on to the next one. Right. So I think this could be a good strategy, which is, I think, adopted all by many organizations in that sense.
And then Anil, a question about the blue fields. You wanted also to finish the blue fields?
Yeah, so I think this is something that is growing traction among customers. So Bluefield is nothing but a hybrid strategy, which is a combination of both Greenfield and Brownfield. So what does this mean for you as a customer? So now in Brownfield, I mean, this helps you to take the best of both Greenfield and Brownfield. So you want to make a complete re-implementation. Yes, that's true. But also you feel that there are certain business processes or the data assets that you already have and the configurations in place which are running well and fine for you. So what do you do in this case? You do a complete re-implementation and redesign certain business processes for which you feel, yes, there is a need to redesign them or re-implement them, but also lift and shift, as you mentioned previously, the processes which are already running well and fine. So this way you are trying to get the best of both the Greenfield and Brownfield.
Yep. And so what are some of the common challenges organizations face when, during migration?
So to start with, in terms of the common challenges, I think we've had one of these points, right? So first would be obviously to get the buy-in from your management. That's one of the key things, because the deadline is approaching and it's now the right time to convince your management that it's essential. It's not just in terms of moving technically, but also kind of the advantages or the benefits that it's going to bring. Yeah, any more points would you like to add, Slavik, Maddie?
Of course, the buy-in is the crucial one. You have to have the executive buy-in to start with. But of course, it comes with the complexity when we speak of the system itself and the integrations. You've already mentioned topics like it comes with a new approach. There was a Fury compared to a typical GUI access. So you have to have the new setup and as well train the users. Integration-wise, there are more cloud solutions you have to integrate with. So how do you connect to be it even a Workday or CRM systems? So what about all the connectivity and data flows, and how do you protect that? Change management aspect. As we now speak of new processes, do you introduce solution manager and talk about change management, or do you put ALM in place to make sure that you have a control of a change on your system, that from the risk perspective or from the other perspective that will eventually come and ask questions about the implementation and about efficiency and of course the effectiveness of the controls. So how do you design your controls? How do you check your controls?
Yeah, so I'd also like to add in terms of the capabilities of your SAP expert skill set that you have at your organization or with your implementation partners. That's also a key, right? So as this is something that we have seen with a lot of customers is where they lack in terms of the functional experience for the new world. That is becoming a growing challenge for a lot of customers, right? Apart from this, yeah, Maddie, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a couple of points to what we have already mentioned. Especially in SAP world, we know custom code adaptation is a major challenge in migrations, right? In the old system, it may whatever the custom code is developed, it may need to be adopted or redeveloped for S4 HANA. So it is very essential to assess and adopt these custom code early in the migration process. User training and adoption is also a challenge sometimes, because the new feature user interface of S/HANA may require trainings for users to ensure smooth transition and adoption of the new system. So these are a couple of points to keep in mind along with the other challenges which you have mentioned.
So maybe also I would like to add another point in terms of the complex data migration that we were talking about, right? So also this gives us an insight as to how would you like to migrate this data, right? Every organization has huge amounts of data now. I think the key for that would be, that's a big challenge. So how do you address these kind of key challenges in terms of this data migration? So that would be possibly in terms of how you categorize your data, right? So what's hot data, what is warm data, and what is cold data? So historically, how would you want to move this kind of data? So something that you would access rarely, would you want to actually make a shift to the S4 with this kind of data, which is cold? And there will be some critical data, which is in the hot category. And this is essential because you would be accessing them frequently, and also that is critical for your business. So you would categorize the data in these sectors, and you try to decide which kind of category would you like to move to the new world.
And I would like to comment on one point that Manny mentioned about the custom code. Many customers in the current ECC or legacy world, system is customized extensively. That brings the challenges in terms of migration if you want to reuse the existing system and convert it into the S4HANA. So the custom code is a challenging piece. Also, this gives you actually opportunity in S4, giving the Greenfield approach, because you may adapt your business processes as much as possible into a standardized what SAP comes with. SAP comes with quite well-defined processes. Rather than creating a custom code or custom processes, you follow what's already given, almost out of the box. So, and then you mitigate the risk of custom code, which may potentially be vulnerable, and you mitigate a lot of risks, not only the business risks, but also the IT or IT security risks.
Right.
And so what are the security factors that should be taken into account when an organization embarks on this migration journey? Madhi?
Yeah, so in any migration project to S/4HANA, right, managing authorization changes and considering an access governance tool are critical aspects because it is also an opportunity. Again, I will mention the word opportunity to rethink, because if you're going for re-engineering of your processes, right? So you're automatically all your security aspects or authorization aspects gonna change with that, right? So it is important to do assessment of your existing authorization rules, right? Basically see and then adopt the changes for S/4HANA, because the point to note here is though there are new much simpler authorization which is presented with S/4HANA, more granular but more simpler, and also it's a Fiori first interface. Then you also need to consider the concept of basically the groups and tiles, all that you need to adopt in your rules, right? So it is important to have a proper strategy which you build around how your security going to work. It is also an opportunity to look at the look at your access management system currently which you have, if that is efficient, and if there is a need to change for S/4HANA, what things need to be changed. Automated rule management can be adopted in that sense, right? Role testing and validation is a key factor to make sure when the user go live happen, people do not face issues, at least on the access prospect, right? So policy-based access control is basically giving user access depending upon as and when they require, and similar way on all this, basically the access governance tool like SafePaaS, which have out of the box in support for S/4HANA. It makes life easier to migrate from S/4HANA in that sense. Anil or Shami, do you want to add something in here?
Yeah, maybe in terms of the user experience itself, right? Now that migrating to S/4HANA, the key change any end user would be seeing would be in terms of the user experience, which would be Fury. Now it's obviously S/4HANA, most of the customers would prefer the Fury first approach. That means you have to radically change your authorization concepts and adapt to the new world, right? So not just about the Fury, also in terms of the cloud platforms that you would like to integrate to make more digital transformation or steer your organization into the digital world. That's essential also to imbibe all these security concerns and make your authorization concepts stronger.
Yeah.
Speaking of the policy-based access controls, maybe that you've mentioned, actually also comes with a great opportunity to, and also the legal requirements that you have to fulfill, like the GDPR or Schrems II, so of all the data transfer aspects. As you have to redesign your authorization concept or build from scratch, depending which migration strategy you decide to go with. You also have to include the critical data access aspects, so the business risks as well as the legal risks like personal data or sensitive personal data. How do you protect it? How do you ensure that if you send it from one location to other location, there are proper access controls inside? A typical role-based access is a very static, whereas the policy-based can reflect aspects of time, location, or other attributes you need or may come up with, depending on your organization. And by this, you comply with the legal requirements. And again, let me mention the GDPR of Schrems II, the famous one, and the legal requirements, legal aspects that are connected to it.
Right. I think that's a very good point. Nowadays, with all the things happening and regulations are tightening up, right, it's very important. And even the auditors, evidence-based, basically auditing. And in this scenario, it's very important that organization take this matter seriously. And, as you mentioned, it is a great opportunity to start from scratch to design the rules in such a way that people get what they are supposed to, not more, not less. And there is a proper audit trail, which can be presented as evidences. So yeah, having a good basically access management tool is also a key for at least SAP would. And if you have a good tool, then your migration also become easier in that sense.
Yeah.
Anyone want to add anything? Yeah. So can you all share some best practices with our audience today, from the very beginning of their journey to the end of their journey, to ultimately make their journey successful?
It starts with the business case. So you have to have the business buy-in and executive buy-in So the value of the migration that is ahead of you. So start with the executives and show the value of the migration that is ahead of you, meaning the business change, the digital transformation, process harmonization, simplification in many cases, and of course the aspect of the license itself, meaning ECC will run out of support. So start from the buy-in with the business value that the project will come up will bring. Then the other aspect, expertise, and I'm happy to hear others, especially in that area, because it comes with a lot of challenges, new work, new requirements, new technology. And you, Madi, you want to comment on the expertise part?
Yeah, I think Anil has already also mentioned previously, right? Having a good expertise in the process make life easier, right? If you know, if you have a good resources, experienced resources, definitely make life easier. I would also like to add on the executive buy-in. I think it is very important to define the clear objective, right? Clearly define objective, scope of the migration, including the timeline, budgets, and the expected outcome. If you have it on the paper, I think executive buy-in will become very easy in that sense. And of course, they will support you during the migration.
Yeah, so I'd like to add another point here in terms of the analysis of your current architecture and the solutions that you already have in place. That's a key also in terms of migrations that you do, right?
Right.
And on the aspect of security, let's also highlight this as well. Building a new infrastructure comes with new risks from a technology standpoint. So make sure that you take into consideration aspects like vulnerability management, starting from patching, knowing what you have, your assets management, and keeping systems up to date, and so monitoring, so understand what data you process on one or the other system, how the systems are connected to your third parties, which data is exchanged, how do you monitor, log, and take actions in case of the alerts, or what is your alerting investigation process behind. There was this piece about the GDPR insurance too, and recent NIS2 that requires you to take actions in case of an incident. So how do you identify if there's any alert or any incident on your system that you have to take action on? How do you report it to authorities? So building your new S4 gives you an opportunity to come up with an end-to-end view on your data protection, not only from a business point of view, but also the value that it comes with, including the requirements you have to comply with.
Yeah. And especially these are cloud solutions, right? And when you are talking to, let's say, going to public cloud, these factors become very important, what you have mentioned.
Yeah, another key aspect would be in terms of how you adapt your GRC rule sets as well, right? So traditionally with ECC, that was more in terms of the transaction codes, but as you move now to the S4 world, and also with the integrations that you're performing with a lot of other solutions when you move to S4 HANA, right? Now that brings in more challenges, also how you adapt your rule set, the current rule set in GRC that you have. So also that is key for a successful migration, also in terms of how you imbibe this OData services or other aspects of APIs, whatever it is in your rule set, yeah, so that they reflect in your analysis and gives you a better snapshot of how your security status is, right?
Yeah, anyone want to add any other best practices before we move on to Q&A?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we have.
Happy to take questions.
Yep. Okay. So, what's the difference between public cloud and private cloud from SAP? And how does this factor into my migration journey? Anyone?
Anyone? Yeah, then. So this is an offering from the SAP side itself, right? So as a customer, if you'd like to have more flexibility in your implementation, you would rather go with the private cloud, because that gives you a virtual private tenant for yourself where you can customize as per your organizational needs. So when you go for a public cloud, so what happens is you share the tenants with the other customers. So basically this is what SAP does, right? So that gives you also an opportunity in terms of standardizing your processes. So then that's the choice between private and public, depends upon what you want to achieve at the end, right? So if you want to keep your current customizations, or in the future you want to still customize the existing solutions that you have, then private cloud is the way to go. And if you want to move towards a more standardized processes, that is industry standard, that is being offered by SAP, then moving to a public cloud would be a good opportunity. And also it is also in terms of how you evaluate between your TCO and the return of investment, right? So if that is in case of a private cloud, the total cost of ownership obviously would be going up high. Whereas if you're going to a public cloud, the TCO would be low and also the return of investment would be high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything that you'd like to add, Ian Spavek?
So in a nutshell, it's about the flexibility you gain with public or private cloud. One comes with the, like Anil said, with a set of predefined SAP processes that are shared among other customers, whereas on the private cloud, you have more flexibility, but it also comes with more accountability to build and come up with.
And the cost is also another factor, considering one or two.
Yeah, then also how much emphasis that you are going to lay on your data as well, right? The critical data. So if you are very keen on your critical data, then I think private cloud is the way to go then.
Okay.
Also, you have to consider the efforts of the team that will support it. You have to have a bigger team for your private cloud, as it's more on your end to design, support, maintain, and operate processes, whereas on the public cloud, it's almost out of the box, so you use what's given, so you don't have to have that big teams.
Yeah, great insight shared there. Okay, what are the differences of SAP HANA Fiori authorization versus SAP ECC? And what are the key considerations whilst migrating? You might want to take.
Yeah, sure. So SAP ECC is basically authorization object-based security model, right? Whereas SAP HANA is more of a field level view level security concept, and Fiori further controlling the screens by having the tile groups and tiles. So there is a difference in the security architect between the two. So but I will say SAP HANA is more simplified granular security, which ensure you have to manage it less and giving appropriate access to user in that sense. So you need to basically if we take it as a migration prospect, right? So it involves a redesign of the rules, especially if you are changing your processes, not even the processes, then you also need to consider the new aspect which SAP HANA and Fiori first have to offer. So yeah, it's a bit of work on that side. And Anil mentioned previously also, right? If you're having access governance system, so your rule sets are going to change. Those also need to be incorporating the changes which these new tools architect have bring in. So your rules need to modify to support HANA, Fiori, and other integrations which you are carrying over. Yeah.
Maybe a question to this one as a follow-up. You've mentioned this access and governance around it. So how would you compare the maturity level for organizations that operate in ECC versus what are the efforts or what are the biggest changes when you implement the Fiori authorizations? How much of the redesign or redevelopment of your access controls and governance controls you have to consider?
We are, talking about Fiori first adoption, right? So there will be a major changes in that sense, right? In SAP ECC, you give access to the transactions. And user log into the GUI, and that is how the access is managed there. Whereas in HANA and Fiori, you have to make sure users. So your design get changed where in those two aspects, right? One, giving access to the transaction, basically transaction in the sense to the proper Fiori tile, where the user can log in and make sure the tile is available. That is one aspect. And then on the data level, appropriate HANA views are also accessible to user at a level there the transaction can be executed or data can be viewed. So this, having said that, I'll say if you are moving to this aspect, so there is a major redesign that is coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe to simply put it in layman terms, right? The key difference between legacy ECC and the S4 would be the user experience itself, right?
Yeah, if we talk in numbers, right? If you see SAP ECC comes with thousands of standard rules, right? Whereas HANA in first launch it has only 300 rules out of the box, so it is really much simpler security design which they have brought in with HANA.
Okay. Yeah. Great insight there again. Next question, what expertise should we specifically look for in a partner when we embark on this migration journey?
That's a broad question, depending on which stage you are. Okay, but you definitely need a different skill set on different moment. Of course, you have to start with like Maggie said, understand where you want to go, the objectives. Sit down with analytics, with your business, understand. So you will need business analysts to understand the current business setup and come up with a future business design. Then you will need a technology to consider architects. So what from the technology of the standpoint, what is the change? How will your landscape change? Once you do the technical piece, then you have to consider the aspect of data protection. So this means one aspect is security, so how you protect your system on each layer and also the connectivity of surroundings, as well as the authorizations. So what's inside the system? Madi, are you? Because I don't want to go to
another of teams. Yeah, expertise in terms of the change management itself, right? So a lot of customers have realized lately that how important the change management is for a successful implementation of S4. So midway, you realize all the changes that you could do and how to coordinate all these kinds of changes that you are bringing into the new world have to be coordinated with. So I think, yeah, the change management or a role of a change manager is also, I think, a key thing. And also the expertise in terms of how we would rigorously test all the business processes in the new world, right? So that's also very key. So the more rigorous the testing, the more successful your implementations are as well.
Right. I think that's a good point where you meet about the project management because reporting is also a key aspect in such projects, right? Reporting to the stakeholders, reporting to the let's say users about the progress of the project and all that, and raising any red flags if any needed at the right time to make sure those are being mitigated at the appropriate time. Another key aspect is the documentation and user training. So you need because this is going to be some change for user, and especially when we are talking about Fury first, so the whole interface is going to change for end user, and how comfortable your end users are with the new change define the success of your project. So it is very important that proper documentation around the new process, new ways of working, and proper user training. So you need to have good competency around the training department as well.
Great. Well, I can't see any other questions. So does anybody have any closing thoughts for our audience today? Any closing comments?
I want to repeat the key statement. Start early. This is my key takeaway from today's discussion. That giving that efforts and the road that you have to go through, start early.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I would agree with Slavik on that, right? So the key of the migration would be obviously to start early as soon as possible, because that gives you a lot of time in terms of your analysis or your future direction in terms of this S4 world.
Yeah. I think my closing comments will be for the organization to take this as an opportunity to redesign your process, opportunity to go away with the things you may want to go away for a long time, but for some reason you're stuck there. Opportunity to rethink about your technical architect. So your the ways of working in the organization. So this is your time to do it.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Well, I'd like to say, yep, go ahead.
No, I was just saying this is an opportunity to move towards an intelligent enterprise direction. Yeah.
Yep. So I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody for attending today, and a huge thank you to our speakers, Slavik, Anil, and Maddie, for sharing their insight today. If anybody would like a one-on-one session, do reach out to us. You have contact details here on the screen. And if anyone has any further questions or queries, then we're here to help. So thank you to everybody, and have a good day.
Yeah, thanks everyone. It was nice.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.